Welcome to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully you guys are having a great week. Welcome to Thursday. It's almost Labor Day weekend. Hopefully it means most of you or all of you or whatever get a little extra day off or time off, and hopefully you can spend it golfing or hanging out with family or doing a combination of the two. So it's going to be, but it does spell getting close to the end of summer, which for us in the north, a little scary. For you guys in the kind of the southern part of the country, probably not a big deal. You're still going to keep playing golf. But for some of us, unfortunately, it's going to kind of be the end of the season, which is kind of a bummer. So we'll still got a lot of golf to play. I love fall golf here in Michigan, so I'll still be playing some golf. But before we get into today's episode, just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Titleist and Team Titleist. So we're excited to share with you guys exclusive opportunities from Titleist. But to be a part of them, you have to join Team Titleist. Team Titleist gives you access to opportunities like prototype testing, special events, limited edition gear from Titleist, and so much more. Sign up and join us on Team Titleist at www.titleist.com/Team Titleist. That's all one word, Team Titleist. So go check it out. If you've ever seen those people on there testing, like, prototype Pro V1s and the white box and all that, that's part of Team Titleist. You got to be a part of that to get your hands on those. So, yeah, definitely go out and join up. I've been a member for a while now, and it's a great opportunity. So go check it out. www.titleist.com/Team Titleist. So here we are, another week. Fortunately, Labor Day week. Unfortunately, Labor Day week, which means that I'm getting a little nervous for how much golf I have left in this year. Now there's still a lot. I mean, all of September is usually really good. Even the beginning of October is pretty solid. The end of October is where it starts getting iffy, if you can play, in terms of just weather. It's really more, I want to say it's more temperature, but it's not necessarily temperature. It's kind of like a combination of temperature, wind, rain, whatever. So there's a whole lot that goes into it, but hopefully we've got at least a few months to continue to play. League's still going on. We got a couple rainouts, so we're still rocking strong with that. We're going to go to, I think, end of September right now, which is kind of crazy. And then also, darkness. It used to stay dark in the middle of the summer till 9:30. Not staying that way anymore. It's definitely pushing further and further back. So that's, or further earlier. So not as much time to play in the afternoons. Hopefully, like I said, I'm going to keep playing. Even when my league's done, I'm going to keep going and keep playing as long as I possibly can, because I don't really have any plans to play throughout the winter, and that's kind of a bummer. So maybe can figure something out, but we'll see and have to kind of manage that when we get there. But it's been a good week. I got rained out last week for my league, which I was kind of bummed at. I know I kind of had everything set up for what's in the bag, all that stuff. I was ready to go. And then it was one of those things where, again, I think a couple weeks ago, it was supposed to rain a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the morning around around noon, and then stop, and then be nice the rest of the afternoon. And it literally just started raining all day, and just rained throughout the whole day, and it stormed, and then when we got to, or it rained, started Wednesday night, stormed pretty bad, rained all Thursday morning, and then when we basically got to our time, the course was flooded. They weren't even open. They were just we had too much water, we can't play, so weren't able to play on Thursday night. Thankfully, got out and played down at the old Bella Vista. If you follow me on Instagram, at Club Junkie Pod, I posted a few pictures out there playing, and I always like playing that course. It's just a unique kind of challenge, and it's got some tough holes and some easy holes and a little combo of both. And I got to play out there with my dad, my brother, my youngest brother, who I don't get to play that much golf with at the moment, but got to go out there and play, and it was fun. It was one of those rounds where I hit the ball so much better than my score. So I think I shot 88. Which is and it was I just made a ton of bogeys. Tee to green, I was actually pretty solid. Hit the tee shots pretty well. I could not get an iron shot onto the green. I brought the T150s, drivers. I had a couple different ones. I had two drivers in the bag. But I could not hit a green. Par threes. I'd hit a decent shot. It would just be a hair right or just be a hair left or whatever. And I wouldn't get a good bounce. And on, the fifth hole, I hit a good shot I thought was going to be on the green, on the right side of the green, hit, and just bounced right, and bounced into this little, what used to be a bunker, now it's just a kind of a grass bunker. And it was just sitting there. And I was man, I I just like, and that would hit the green on the bounce. It just bounced right for some reason, and just had a bunch of shots where I just did not hit the green, and then I was trying, chipping, trying to get up and down, and I just didn't. I just made a absolute crap ton of bogeys. So I didn't do anything horrible. I ended up hitting a bad tee shot on 14, which honestly should be like one of the easiest holes in the course, and hit it OB. Well, actually, I hit it into the woods. It's technically not OB, but had to take it unplayable because I could not hit the ball. It was like sitting down behind this tree in this like nasty kind of long grass weedy stuff, so I had to take it unplayable there. And then on what was it? On another or on 10, I hit a shot again. I hit a great tee shot on 10. 10 is probably the hardest hole in the course. 10, I hit a great tee shot. I mean, 10 for being as hard a hole it is, I probably hit that green like 90% of the time. Because it's just a 4-iron. You want to hit like a 200-yard shot, and you're in the middle of the fairway, and then you got about 150 to 160, depending on the shot, into the green. And I hit a really good tee ball right down the middle, sit in the middle of the fairway. I think I had 150 because the pin was in the front. Hit an 8-iron, and I just literally left it out right. Like the face just wide open. And I wasn't going to miss the green by much. It was just going to miss right. Hits the cart path, straight in the air, hits the grass in between the cart path and the woods, and literally just shot dead right. And it was gone. Never found it. So had to drop there. But those were only two like bad shots I hit. Everything else, like I hit it good. It just couldn't get in the hole. Just couldn't get it on the green. And like I said, I was hitting good iron shots. I mean, they were solid iron shots. They were just a little bit right, a little bit left. And just couldn't get anything nailed down. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but had a good time. We had fun playing, as we always do. And I got to go out and hit a handful of different things. The one driver that I'm kind of hitting right now that I kind of like, that was kind of a sleeper. I don't know why I just started hitting it a couple weeks ago, really, because it's not a driver that I typically hit. That's probably why. But the Cobra Aerojet Max, the Max head. And usually, the Max heads, these, heads that are kind of built for ultimate forgiveness, draw, whatever. I typically don't hit a lot of these bad boys, but I've had this out actually twice now, and once with the VA Composites Regime 2.0, and then I had the VA Composite Sinister out in it actually this weekend. Actually didn't necessarily mean to play two VA Composite shafts in a row, but I did, and had both those shafts in it. And I tell you what, like I put the 12 gram weight in the far back, so it's a little more neutral. And honestly, it's really forgiving and really straight driver. I was kind of impressed so far, and I've hit a pretty long drive with it as well. I hit so on the third hole, it's a long par 5, and it's not crazy long, but it's a par 5, and where at like 250-ish, 260, there's like a ravine that goes down. It drops down, and if you get the ball, if you play early in the morning, sometimes you can get stuck on that downslope if you don't hit it great. My dad, for whatever reason, like his yardage from the front tees is like perfectly where that downslope is, and if he doesn't hit it like perfect, it gets caught on the downslope, and then it's a tough shot. But it's this little ravine that's kind of built for drainage and everything, and to carry it, it'd be interesting to know what it is to carry it. It's got to be 300 in the air, or 300 in the air to carry it, which I don't have in my bag. I don't have that kind of firepower, but it's got to be like 300 in the air to carry the whole ravine, if not maybe a little bit more. And usually I hit a ball, and the downside is it's kind of an equalizer, because if you hit a really good ball, it hits the bottom of the ravine, and then it just stops because it's one, soft down there, and two, then the ball's to go uphill, so it gets no roll. And then if you're somebody who doesn't quite hit it as far, but you hit it just right, it runs down the ravine, and you're at the bottom of the ravine. So the first time I played it with that Regime 2.0, hit a ball down there, and actually got onto the upslope, which was kind of crazy because I rarely ever on the upslope. I mean, I've been like kind of on the slightly upper side of the bottom of the ravine, but this was like I went up a couple yards, which is pretty crazy. I've never been there. And then when I hit it again this week, I didn't hit it great. I kind of hit it low heel, still got it to the bottom of the ravine, and like in the same spot that I always am. So it was kind of nice. And then, hit 7-wood, kind of left it out right a little bit, hit 7-wood out right, and was just right of the green. But this Cobra driver's been really, really good. I mean, it's definitely higher launching. compared to the other two models, the Aerojet and Aerojet LS. But the Max head launched a little higher, and the face is just like a hair more shut. Like the way it's designed, it's a little more shut than the other two. But in terms of stability, you can hit it low heel, you can hit it in the toe, and the ball just stays pretty straight. Like, it goes pretty darn straight, and the ball speed on there is really, really solid. And when you strike it dead center, like the other two Cobra models, it really goes. So I've been really impressed with that thing. And the other thing is, it's not crazy high spinning. Now, I am not a super high spin guy, so I can play, a higher spinning head without any problems. But it doesn't seem to have, like, every ball, I mean, even though it launches a little bit higher initially, it still is a really penetrating flight. The ball doesn't rise at all. It cuts through the wind pretty well. Even when you kind of strike it low heel, whatever, it doesn't seem to move a whole lot. The ball just stays online, and it's been really, really solid. I'm debating whether I take it out again tonight. Well, I'm recording this on Wednesday, but I'm debating whether to take this out tonight again and maybe just put a different shaft in it. I don't know what yet. I was thinking about, because what I did with the Regime 2.0 was I actually lowered the loft one click on the on the all fit adapter, so it was minus 0.75. So it looked a little more open, and I was thinking about doing the same thing and maybe putting like Ventus TR Red in there, or the Mitsubishi 1K Blue, Pro 1K Blue. So I don't know, I might put something different in there and try it out. Like I said, I hit the Sinister, which is kind of lower launching, and that worked pretty well. The Regime 2.0, which is a little higher launching, and that thing was really, really long. So, but overall, really happy with that. And then I also broke out, again, if you follow on Instagram, you see the photo that I put on there, at Club Junkie Bod, that I was playing the old, I have a Callaway Rogue ST Max LST head, so it's a 10.5T, and it's a tour issue head that my boy Johnny Wonder was nice enough to gift me. And it's not a whole lot different than a regular Max LS head, except they did the top line, kind of where the hosel comes into the top line. There's like a little kind of wave or a little cutout. The way that it's shaped is just, it kind of catches your eye. There's a little kind of like kind of arch, or there's just a little bit of an angle there that's just different. And they squared that off, straightened that out, and other than that, it's pretty much the same head. So I've got a little hot melt in that bad boy, kind of in the sole out towards the heel. Got a little bit of hot melt in there, and it's been it's kind of a fun driver to hit. And I tell you what, when that thing, when you hit it in the center, man, it feels soft. You feel the ball just jump off the face, and it goes. I was playing that with the Mitsubishi Tensei 1K Pro Blue. And so I was swapping kind of in between holes. I'd kind of switch out and hit, or swap them out, hit one in one hole, one in the other, or something like that, or whatever I felt. I would just kind of pull one or the other and hit some really good drives with that thing. And it is definitely something that's crazy long. So it's fun to kind of break that out and play it again. I hadn't hit that thing in a little while, but it's fun to hit stuff like that and take it out and give it a shot. But hit that really well. And then I was actually playing the T150s. I didn't get my I-230s gripped in time to take them out that weekend, because left down at the cottage on Thursday, and since we left earlier, I didn't play golf. I didn't have time to finish them, but they are finished now. They're in the bag. They're going in play tonight. So Ping I-230s with the Fujikura Axiom 105 stiffs are going out tonight, and I'm probably going to take them and play them this weekend as well, because I am playing Sunday with my brother and a buddy. Excuse me, I don't know if my dad's going to play. He's kind of on the fence. He doesn't necessarily want to wake up early on his Labor Day weekend. He kind of made some comment about getting up early that he wants to kind of sleep in. So he will, I don't know if he's going to play. We'll see. The invite's there to him. There's a spot for him. We'll see if he plays. I don't know if he will, but he might want to sleep in instead. I guess that's just like the life of a retired guy. When you've got all the time to play, you can play whenever you want. If you don't want to play on the weekends and get up early, you don't have to. So that'll be his choice. It'll probably be a game time decision. But yeah, so I've been hitting those things. Like I said, the I-230s are ready. They're sitting in a bag. I've got that new Titleist Lynx Legend bag. The member bag that I can't wait to use. I know I took a bunch of pictures. Seems like a lot of you guys are interested in that bag. It's really impressive. I've liked it so far. I've got clubs sitting in it. but I'll get it out there probably tonight and this weekend. I'll go play with it and use it because it is a very cool bag. I like the burgundy that I went with. It'll be I got to figure out some head covers now to go with it because it's kind of a different color. But I wanted something different. They made a cool green, but I've already got a vessel bag in green, so I didn't need 2 green bags. So I've got the burgundy there, and then I've got black and some other ones around. So that bag, exciting to get it out there. Like as I said, it's a pretty cool bag. I really like the look of it and all that, and it's way lighter than I thought. I thought it was going to be, being like synthetic leather or whatever. It's you'd think it would be pretty heavy and bulky. It's actually a little bit smaller bag than I thought it was going to be, and it's actually super light. I was really impressed with how the weight of it when I kind of got out of the box. So very cool there. I'll be using that a little bit as well. And then, the one thing I got to kind of mess with, which I know what I'm going to play tomorrow, but putter-wise, the Bettinardi was just, it's one round, but it was just off. I didn't make any putts. I was kind of like shutting the face as I was coming into impact hit, so I missed like everything left. And I knew I was doing it, and I couldn't like necessarily stop it. So I was kind of turning, and I you could watch it as the club came in. It was like a couple degrees shut. So I was just hitting everything left. So I think tonight I'm going to go with the PXG Battle Ready 2, the Apache that I built into a counterbalance putter. So that one's got a Nippon NS Pro 140 gram putter shaft, built up to like 35 inches or 35 and a half or 36 inches. With a Super Stroke wrist lock grip with a 50 gram counterbalance weight in it. And it is overall a pretty heavy putter, but it's super stable. It just stays right on line. You just kind of pull it back and it kind of does its own thing. It doesn't really want to get offline. It kind of stays there. So I think that's going to go with me tonight. And then depending on how putting goes, I'll either keep that in the bag or move to if that isn't there, then I'm either going to go the Lab Mez 1 Max or the Odyssey Tri-Hot 5K number 7 crank hosel. So I'm going to do one of those. The other one that I was kind of sort of shocked at how well I putted with, but I don't know if I'm going to bring it out, there was the TP Reserve. God, I can't remember because they don't make them names anymore. It's kind of like the what is it, I think it's the Juno, the more rounded kind of Newport head with a little flow neck. I actually took that out and just to putt with it because usually those have too much. Those putters, that putter style has too much toe hang, and I just don't. I don't square it up as easily. I get it kind of inconsistent with it. I putted really well with it out of Bella Vista a couple weeks ago. I took it out, and I think on fast greens where I don't have to like take it back and have a big stroke, it worked pretty well. So that's there too. I might take that out. But we're gonna go Apache, counterbalance Apache this round tonight, and then maybe Mez Max or Tri-Hot 5K number 7. One of those two is gonna go in the bag this weekend if the Apache doesn't work out. So we'll see how that goes. And then also the other thing that I'm tinkering with that I've got to decide on, I've got the PXG 0317 CBs, the cavity back PXG models that came out, and those came with some True Temper Elevate shafts, which are fine. I hit those pretty decent, but I wanted something a little different in there. I almost put the Axioms in, but I figured I probably won't play them as much as I'll play the I-230s, so I kind of scrapped that. And I'm thinking I might put in those heads. I've got a set of KBS PGI 100s, so the 100 gram KBS PGIs. I've got a set of those still. I know I reviewed those a while back. I just did like 7 irons of the 90 and the 100, but I've got a full set of those, and I might put those in the PXGs. I got ferrules for them and all that, so I have the stuff to build them. I just got to do it. So I might put that in there, or another set of pulls. Right now, I had the True Temper Elevates. I put some Project X6Os. I've hit them okay, but then, I want to see maybe we go something different. So I have the Project 6Os in there. I might pull those out. I want to pull them out anyway because I didn't have the PXG ferrules, and there's a couple that just are not. They're just not 100% centered in the ferrule. Even though I shimmed them, all that, they still kind of just either moved after I set them down or whatever. They just didn't come out as nicely as I'd like them to, so I want to reshaft them anyway. And then I figured, I didn't, the round that I played with the PXG 6Os I didn't love, so then maybe I'll use something else. So I might put the PGI 100s in there. That would be kind of a cool setup. And then I can also kind of compare those to the Axioms. So I've got a few different options. Then I've got a handful of steel shaft pulls that I could put in there as well. And then also the other set of shafts that I have that are sitting in the previous gen T100s. I've got a set of Fuji Pro 115s that I could do as well. I'd have to just pull them, but I don't see using those heads anytime real soon. So now that I got the 150s, I probably won't use the T100s. So those I could pull the shafts out of those and put something else in just to have them. So that's kind of where the tinkering is at the moment. Yeah, still rocking the Ping. The G430 Max 7 was still got the I230, the Ping I crossover 4-iron. But I tell you what. I brought that. I've been hitting that T200 4-iron. Hit that over the weekend. And I haven't hit them like side by side on the launch monitor or anything like that. But I hit the T200 4-iron with the steel fiber 110 last weekend. And I'll tell you what, I didn't have to hit it off the deck yet. But hitting off the tee, I don't know, man. That I crossover might be in trouble only because performance-wise, that T200 works really, really well. It goes a really long ways. And to be honest, it looks, sounds, and feels better than the iCrossover. So there could be a little bit of danger there. I didn't think the iCrossover was going to leave. I thought that was kind of cemented in the bag. I really liked it. But then after hitting the T200 4-iron, giving it some chances out on the course, so far, I kind of like it. It flies maybe just a hair lower, but off the tee it goes just as far, and it sounds and feels and looks way better. So I do have to hit it off the deck though, and if I can hit it off the turf and hit it high, and hit it into greens, then that'll be kind of that'll seal it as the 4-iron. Right now I know the iCrossover, when you hit it off the turf, it goes super high, it goes super far. Everything about it is really good, even off the turf. So we got to see. Got to hit a few shots off the deck with the T200 4-iron, but off the tee, I think I would replace it from the iCrossover right now. It's pretty darn solid. So I knew I liked the 5-iron. The 4-iron, it was just like, do I want to get rid of that iCrossover? And it's not that I want to get rid of it, but it's definitely been the test is out there. We'll have to see, because it may not stay a whole lot longer. I just don't run into a lot of shots off the deck that are 200 yards. At least the courses I play. Like you go out to St. Clair Shores, maybe hole 13, and then also 13 would probably be about it. Maybe if you hit like a really poor drive on 16 or something like that, but off the deck, that would be the only real hole, because on 8, the other par 5, even if you hit a great drive, you're still going to be like 220 out, something like that, and that's too much for me for a 4-iron. 4-iron, like I said, is about 200, maybe 195 off the deck to 200, and then off the tee it maybe goes a little bit farther than that, 205-ish. So I don't know where I'll be able to hit that shot a lot, and then Bella Vista the same thing. I just don't have a whole lot of 200-yard shots going into the green. I mean, on 2, on 3, you're 220 down in the ravine. And then after that, you'd get to 9, but 9 I hit 5-iron off the tee, and then you hit basically 3 wood up the hill because you got like 250. And then 11, you hit driver, and then you either lay up, you usually got like 230, and you usually lay up 2 different ways. Neither one of them take a 4-iron. And once you've laid up, you've got, a short iron or wedge in, so you're not going to hit it there. And then 15, again, even if you hit a great drive, you're still, 215-ish, 210 out, depending on, where you land it and how much of the corner you can cut off, if you can fade it, because it's a little bit of dogleg right from the tee box. So there's no 200-yard shot there, and none of the par 3s really are 200. 7 gets a little close, depending on where they put the tee box, because that's uphill most of the way. It always plays the club longer, so I mean, I guess if you lasered it at 180, but it's usually around 160, 170. So you add a little extra there. So 5-iron, the most I've ever hit into that green, which I hit this weekend, and kind of left it just right. I was just off the green, pin high. And then I actually got up and down for par there, which was kind of nice. That was one of the few times that I played that hole decent from off the green. played a hole decent from off the green, but but yeah, I need to test that out, and then after that, it's time to go. So, yeah, we're getting it kind of narrowed down. We're getting a bag narrowed down just in time for next year to hit and all new stuff to come out. So that's gonna be that'll be the interesting part. But those are things I'm messing with right now, and then. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm messing with. I've got a few things to test there. I've actually built up as the swing is kind of falling apart this year and things need to be fixed. Went out, bought like an actual training grip, put it on my, I have one of those Fujikura tempo training kind of shafts. It's super whippy and soft. But when you get the tempo right, if you get too quick with it, you hit it low heel. There's just no way not to hit it low heel. There's just so much droop and so much sag in it that if you get your tempo right, you can hit it solid. And I've got it in like a 2019 Apex head, standard Apex black head. But I put a training grip on there because I've noticed I've started to get like the right hand started to get like a little bit, is it stronger? But it's the right hand is starting to slide to the right a little bit, and I'm just not doing that right. And then as I take the club away, I've always kind of shut the face a little bit as I take it away, but I've been doing it even more lately. So I'm going to try to work on that. But built up a little training club there to try to help and hopefully hit it into the net and stuff at my house a little bit, and we'll see where that goes. So we got that there, and then we're gonna talk some Milled Grind 4 wedges here in just a second from TaylorMade. But before we get into that, I just want to let you know, KBS brand new hybrid shaft out. So yes, KBS before had the prototype hybrid shaft out. Now they have the PGH Players graphite hybrid shaft. So the brand new shaft here has taken a bunch of time with R&D to develop a hybrid shaft that is very similar to the PGH iron shaft. So they're using high-tech, lighter weight materials to be a little bit lighter than the prototype shaft, but they've also got a slightly lower CG to help with hybrids, to help kind of get down under the ball and hit it more squarely. But the PGH is going to be a little bit higher launching shaft for players who want a little more height on their hybrid. It comes in 10-gram increments from 45 to 105, so it's a wide range of players are going to be fit into this shaft, and this new shaft eliminates the variables for more consistency and better shot control while providing the same optimal tight tolerances and dispersion as the KBS Tour steel shafts. So if you want to check out more about the PGH hybrid shaft from KBS, go to kbsgolfshafts.com, check them out. It is a brand new shaft. Yeah, 45 grams all the way up to 105 grams. So you've got a lot of weight range options there to fit whatever hybrid style you like to play, weight range, anything like that. But pretty interesting there, pretty exciting. Again, being a guy who doesn't hit it super high, I like the PGH stuff. The Players graphite tends to be more my style, and I like the kind of that high launch with that soft descent angle. So kbsgolfshafts.com, check out the new Players graphite hybrid shaft. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Milled Grind 4 from TaylorMade. So the Milled Grind 4 wedges, I know you've seen photos and stuff all over the Golf the BRX website. You've probably seen them online, everywhere. But yeah, brand new Milled Grind 4s. I really liked the Milled Grind 3s. I played them. I got a set of the Milled Grind 3s. I didn't play them right away. And then I took them out, just took them out one day and played really well with them and really liked the turf interaction, all that. And they kind of became my gamers all the end of last year. I played a whole lot of Milled Grind 3. I had a 52 high bounce that I bent a little bit weak, so that was 50, and then a 56 standard bounce, and then a 56 low bounce, which the low bounce I ended up not playing that. It just had a little bit not enough bounce to it, and then I ended up actually putting a high toe 3 in there and playing that along with the other two. So been playing a lot of TaylorMade wedges at the end of last year, and then saw the Milled Grind 4s, and then when we saw the photos on tour, was super excited about them, and then got to finally see them in person here. And yes, for some people, they're going to sit there and say they don't look much different. That is correct. They really don't. They looked a lot like the Milled Grind 3s from like the backside. You kind of how the way they do the muscle and things like that. They're just slightly different. The little kind of muscle up near the top of the club is just like a little bit more rounded. There's a little slightly different angle there, and it does actually fluctuate a little bit more depending on the club, it looks like. So when you look at kind of like the 56 and the sand wedges, it definitely looks a little bit different than, say, the lob wedges and stuff like that. And then along with additional grinds and bounces that they've brought out this year, the Tiger Woods models are out again as well, just like they were last year. So the Tiger Soles, and that's what I have in my hand actually right here. So the Tiger Soles are basically his grind that he uses, which is a big time pre-worn leading edge on both of them. The 56, you've got a good amount of heel and trailing edge relief, and everything there is milled into the soles. The 60 has a little bit more fuller sole than the 56. And then everything here is done in kind of this satin chrome. And then, of course, they have the raw faces again. So the faces are raw steel. And they've got a brand new face texture on there that is basically called, what is it called? A spin tread. So in between each main groove, there is a bunch of tiny grooves, and they are rough. When you first get these wedges, you run your hand over it, it's kind of like sandpaper. Like, it's really, really rough. Interesting if you have like a terry cloth towel, like standard, and you go to wipe the faces, like the towel grips the face. Like, it's actually hard to wipe across there a little bit because there's so much texture on these faces. So the faces will rust as well as you play them, as they get wet and all that. They will rust. I played with these actually in slightly wet conditions, and they're actually still pretty much steel. There's just a hint of a little bit of orange in spots coming on them. They're pretty much still all raw steel though. But I've been playing the Tiger Woods 56 and 60, and then I also played a standard bounce 56, as well as there are some new lob wedge grinds and sole grinds. I played the standard bounce C grind. So there's in like the 60s and 58s, you get a low bounce V grind, a standard bounce C grind, and a high bounce W grind as the brand new options for those wedges. The C grind in the 60 I really did like. It was pretty versatile. Still had a good amount of bounce. The standard bounce, it's 9 degrees, but it felt like it played more than that. And then the V grind is 7 degrees, and the high bounce W is 13. So, and the TW, the 56 is 12, and the 60 is going to be 11. So decently high bounce in the Tiger Woods wedges, which they've pretty much always been. The other interesting thing is the Tiger Woods versions. When you look down at them, a little more squared off toe. So when you look at I like the MG3s a lot because they were a little more rounded. The MG2s had a pretty squared off profile. From address, the Tiger Woods versions have more of that MG2 profile with the square toe, where the non-Tiger Woods versions seem to be a little bit more rounded. And that's just going to be player dependent. I kind of like a little more round. Now that I've played these Tiger Woods ones a little bit, I've kind of gotten used to it. I haven't really noticed it much on there now. But when I first set them down, first took them out of the box, I could definitely tell that these had just a slightly more squared off toe, which again, depending on who you are, you're going to like one or the other a little bit better. But either way, it's kind of cool to see TaylorMade bringing out more grinds, more options, and having a bunch of options for us who we're looking for something maybe a little bit different. Maybe they had wedges before in the Milled Grind 3 that just didn't weren't exactly what you were looking for. So now a couple additional lob wedges. Maybe it's worth taking another look at some TaylorMade Milled Grind 4s. But overall, the look really good, sound and feel greatly improved over MG3. MG3 I thought was pretty decent. They felt pretty good. They weren't the softest wedge in the world and all that, but they were pretty good. These definitely softer. When you hit them dead center, they're extremely soft. You'd probably not realize that they're not forged. They're made out of 8620 carbon steel, but they're cast. Hitting them in dead center, they're probably one of the softest cast wedges that I've hit. I was really impressed the first time I took them to the short game area over at St. Clair Shores, and just hitting some shots. And man, when you hit them dead center, they are extremely soft. Whether it's little partial shots or on the green, full shots just have that kind of like that thud when you catch them, and when you hit that full shot or close to full shot, solid dead center. you're probably barely going to even feel the ball leave the face. It's just that soft, but much better sound, much better feel. On some mishits, if you get out really far towards the toe, you might get a little bit of click to that. But I'm talking you're going to have to get out to where kind of the chrome and the raw face meet, getting to the edge of the grooves there. You'll get a little bit of click. Anything inside the heel still stays solid, still stays really soft. And even if you're using like a little bit firmer ball, like a Pro V1X, you're still going to have that really, really soft feel. But I was really impressed with the improvement of the sound and feel on these things. They really did a good job making these things just a little bit softer and a little bit nicer sound to them. So that is a one big difference. And then you have this face with the spin tread, and as I said, it's rough when you first get these things. It's like running your hand across really fine sandpaper. It's definitely really rough. And these things put a really good spin on the ball from just about any lie. The other thing that's interesting is, as I pull the 60 out here, and please don't judge me on the location of a lot of these strikes. If you're watching this on YouTube, I don't know if it's... Oh, there you go. It actually leaves like some of the cover on the ball. Like there's actually white on the face. When I took them to the range, you were definitely just taking kind of white marks of cover on where you hit the ball, which was pretty interesting. And it wasn't like shredding the cover. There weren't big flakes of it, kind of like the old box screws that we used to have that would like shear chunks of the cover off. But it does have a little bit of kind of that white marking on there, and it definitely grabs the ball pretty hard. Fairway lies, all that, they check up really, really well. I mean, as you'd expect, any wedge, if you hit it off a tight fairway lie and you nip it clean, it's going to hit the green, it's going to stop. But the big thing is, I think out of the rough, these things play really, really well. And they, of course, say the wet performance is much better. I didn't notice a huge difference in wet performance. The one thing I will say is they're very consistent spin out of kind of like wet, rough grass. You're going to get some release out of that. It's going to hit and roll a little bit, but you know how much it's going to be. Like, you hit, and it's just that little bit of release, it rolls out, and it's set. You never have to... I never had one that you hit and just took off the backside of the green, and just ran forever. It just didn't happen. The spin on these things, even with these little grooves, is really, really good. Now, I will say this spin tread pattern, it's interesting when you first get it, crazy, crazy rough. As you hit balls especially out of the trap, it does tend to smooth it out a touch. Like as you run your finger over it, kind of like where I've been hitting balls on it, it's definitely a little bit smoother. So that spin tread, I don't know how long that is projected to, really, really last. Especially if you're playing all really, really sandy conditions, you might wear through that pretty quickly. But when you first get them, man, it is crazy rough. And up here in Michigan, we don't play really sandy conditions. Everything's pretty lush, soft, but nothing's really sandy. It's just kind of like, grass and underneath that dirt. They're not really sanded. So, shots there that you're hitting off the fairway out of the rough, they really don't affect the grooves or the kind of the face that much. But when you get it out of the sand, you can kind of tell where that thing kind of hits. And you can kind of see the little, impact location. And you can feel on your hand where it's a little bit smooth for those shots. So the performance of these things are really, really good. Even shots, they said they moved that mass around a little bit. I hit, especially actually with the 60, and again, I don't think you'll be able to see it on YouTube, but up high near the toe, I had a bunker shot that I was really short-sighted. There was just like kind of where the bunker, it's on the 11th hole of Bella Vista, which I know most of you haven't played, but the bunker is kind of in front right of the green. Pin was in the back right, and you had to basically carry a shot up onto this little ridge and let it roll down, and it was going to roll 6 feet past the pin no matter what minimum. Even if you hit it perfect, it was going to roll by. There was just no stopping it. So I, of course, was trying, I had the face just wide open on this thing, trying to just kind of get it as close as I can, and slid. I got a little steep, hit a little behind it, caught it super high in the face, and we're talking the third groove from the top is where it struck. But it still got the ball out, kind of popped it up high. I unfortunately didn't hit it. It didn't quite go far enough, so it kind of hit the rough, killed it, and I still had to kind of putt it through the fringe, which is a little bit of a bummer. But I was kind of shocked because as soon as I hit it, I knew I hit it super fat. I didn't think it would make it to where it did. I thought it would just be in the rough 5 feet in front of me. It still got the ball up and out, and it moved it forward. And pretty much I hit a handful of shots off the toe, off the heel, all that. The spin stays really, really high. So everything that I've done there in terms of spin, has been really, really good, whether it's been wet, whether it's been dry, rough, fairway, sand. I thought the spin on these was really, really good. I would say very, very similar to the Cleveland RTX 6s, which I think are some of the spinnier wedges out there. I think these are right there with them in terms of the amount of spin that they put on the ball from just about any lie. I mean, whether ball's sitting in some lush rough, which is what we have up here, you get a lot of grass on the face when you do that. You get some release, but it's nothing that is unpredictable or anything that's kind of wild that you say, wow, that really rolled out a long, long way. So spin on these really solid. Between the 56, 60, all those really, really good. And then soles, like I said, I played the 56 standard bounce. I thought was great. That's a 12-degree bounce sole, a little fuller, a little bit wider than the TW version. Doesn't have the trailing edge relief and the heel relief that one does. Played really, really well. Soft conditions up here, so most of the stuff I play is standard or high bounce because that's kind of what we have. Low bounce stuff, I tend to get a little over the top and steep, so I don't really love low bounce. It tends to dig on me a little bit. But the 56 worked really well. Standard bounce. 56 Tiger Woods played really well. Also. I kind of like that beveled, and a lot of the standard ones have the kind of pre-worn leading edge as well. But that pre-worn leading edge, I've kind of really liked, especially in the TW models, of playing a club face kind of square and just kind of using it, more of a chipping stroke and hitting it. And I just feel like you don't have to worry about that leading edge grabbing at all. It just kind of hits, and you can kind of feel it hit the turf, and it just stays right there, hits the ball, glides through, and just keeps going. There's just almost no hint of digging. I had a great shot like the 60 on hole 8. Of course, missed the green just slightly right. The ball bounces, and it rolls. I thought it was OB. It rolled just across the cart path, and it was in the grass there. And the grass is a little bit... Where it went, it was kind of a little bit thin, a little bit of dirt. There wasn't like a whole lot. Like the ball wasn't sitting up by any means. So, opening the face to hit kind of a flop shot, I just don't have that kind of skill. And the pin was a little more tucked right, so there wasn't a ton of green to work with. And I kind of played a little pressed forward in the 60, kind of pressed it forward, played it square, and just kind of hit like a little chip shot. And again, like you could feel that leading edge, or just behind the leading edge, the bottom of the sole kind of hit, and then just kind of glide through the turf and pop the ball up and hit pretty much the exact shot I wanted to hit. Again, I just hit it a touch shorter than I needed to and caught it up in the fringe. It hit the rough and slowed it down like I was hoping it would. It just slowed it down more because it was a lot of dew out there. But I was really happy with the shot I hit. I thought I hit it perfect. I thought it would get onto the green and be all right. And it was just a little short, but I just had to putt through the fringe. So still happy with that shot. And I was really kind of struggling what shot to hit there because I knew I couldn't really open the face and hit that shot. I just didn't have the confidence in that. But being able to play this thing forward or square, and then if you do have a really tight lie, you can press it forward even a little bit more and get that leading edge even closer to the ground. So that was pretty nice. The fuller sole in the 60 floats really well through the sand. As I mentioned, that shot on 11 that I hit fat. That fuller sole, it still got through the turf, got through that sand pretty well. It didn't go crazy deep. I just hit a little bit too far behind the ball. And then the 56 is really good for kind of just a slightly open face shot, where it's got that trailing edge relief, that heel relief. It's just having that slightly open face as you kind of hit the club. It just kind of gives it a little more spin. There's still a whole lot of bounce, a whole lot of sole there that you can still kind of slam it into the turf and hit a slightly higher lofted shot with just a little bit more spin as like a little pitch shot. So that's been really good there. And then the same thing, the leading edge on this thing, being able to hit kind of square face pitch shots has just been really, really nice. But 12 degrees of bounce seems to play really well. I like the fact that it's a pretty versatile wedge. I know I don't have Tiger's skill by any means, so I mean hitting all the shots he can hit, there's just no way. But that pre-worn leading edge does kind of help with getting into the turf and getting out quickly, and these things do glide through the turf pretty fast. The other one that I hit was that standard bounce C grind on the 60, and that was actually really good too because you could open the face, I feel, a little bit more than the Tiger Woods 60. It just had more trailing edge relief. At kind of C grind, the main part of the bounce went right almost dead center through it, and I felt like it kind of played like a Vokey T grind, but with more bounce. Like kind of like I'd say kind of it's not quite a D grind, but it's a little more than an M grind or a T grind. But it had that where you could open it up a little bit. That leading edge didn't come off the ground too much, and if you played more open face shots of the 60, that standard bounce C still gives you 90 degrees of bounce, so it's still, a good amount of bounce to it, but still allows you to manipulate that face, open it up, hit some higher lofted shots, and not have to worry about, that leading edge coming up and hitting those balls a little bit thin or a little bit farther than you needed to. So I love the milled soles on the bottom too. They just look really cool, and I love the idea behind it that, they're all milled, so that way if you have one, you go buy one next year, because usually wedges are 2-year cycles, and say you wear out the grooves, you want another one, or you want another one for a second bag or whatever, you're going to get the exact same wedge, and it's there's no difference in terms of the angles and the shaping and the bounce and all that stuff, which is pretty cool. So played the standard bounce C, thought that was really, really good. The high bounce W, I hit that a little bit too, and it's great for square shots. If you're a person who plays that 60 square to the target and you're not going to open it up a ton, or you're going to play square to the target in the rough, the fairway, all that, it's awesome for that. It's got a ton of float. If you hit behind it a little bit, it's going to let you get away with that a little bit. It's going to glide through that turf pretty well. And then in the trap, if you open it up, there's just a ton of effective bounce. You're just going to float right through, and you should be able to kind of help get that ball up and out of the trap easily and more consistently. But the W grind's really, really good for that as well, and I thought that was a very playable wedge. I didn't mess with the low bounce V much. I hit a few kind of little shots with it here and there. I just get so timid with low bounce wedges that I'm like, just don't, like I just try not to hit down on it, so I'm always kind of hitting things a groove or two low, just trying to be real shallow and just pick the ball, and I'm not good at that. So not to say that I'm a good wedge player anyway, but I'm just not good at doing that. So the low bounce V I was hitting, and it seemed to be pretty good, but I'm very timid and cautious with low bounce wedges. But so far the Milled Grind 4s I really like. I think the TW stuff is really cool. I really like it. I know that it's $20 more with having TW on it, but I also, like I said, for the 60, I really like that standard bounce C grind. I think it's super versatile, has enough bounce to play in a lot of different conditions, and if you're somebody who likes to manipulate that face, hit a bunch of different shots, I think it's still pretty versatile even with 9 degrees of bounce. And then the 56 in both the Tiger Woods and the standard model, I think are really solid, and I like the feel of them. I think they feel great. They spin really well, and I've been really impressed so far with those wedges. So might have to get myself a 50 degree to go with these. So I have the 50 degree for the gap wedge. So right now for the gap, I've been using the Milled Grind 3 to match up with it. So I've been using that a little bit, but it's been really, really good. But I really like the Milled Grind 4s. I think they're really, really solid. I think they're definitely worth looking at. If you're looking for new wedges this year, definitely take a look at the Milled Grind 4s. I think they're really impressive, and TaylorMade, I think, did a really nice job with their kind of the update. They didn't go crazy with something wildly new. They took what worked really well last year and just improved upon it this year. So really impressive wedges, and I think they're definitely worth your time to take a look at when you're demoing some new stuff. So that is the Milled Grind 4 wedges. Like I said, right now, the Tiger 50, 56, and 60 kind of in the bag at the moment. So we'll see how long that stays. But right now, kind of in the bag. I really like both those wedges. So that's all I've got today. Hopefully you guys have a great Labor Day weekend again. Stay safe, travel safe if you're going anywhere, and hopefully you can play some golf and hang out with some family and do some fun stuff. But we will talk again next week. And again, have a great Labor Day, everybody.